that was my main thing. I just couldn't stand up because I kept throwing up. So I felt really disrespectful to lay down on the podium, but I would have been more disrespectful to be throwing up on the crowd. So I decided I'd just lay down.
Yeah, I think there's probably been quite a lot of things that have happened on the podium, but I don't remember the last time somebody threw up on one. So I think you would have set a whole new precedence, not just for coming out and kicking ass and taking names, but for then throwing up on everybody that beat you later on.
Yeah, I definitely could have done. I was there wasn't anything in my stomach to throw up except for water, so it would have only been a little bit of water, but still the fact that it was coming from my stomach wouldn't have been very good.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Okay, I think one of the big questions is, one, what motivated you to do this? Why did you want to come down and race, the J-Day off-road and then as well the GNCC down at River Ranch?
The J-Day thing just looked fun to me. I mean, I enjoy riding off-road. I enjoy riding in the sand. And it was partially motocross, so it was kind of my forte. It kind of just had my name written all over it, so I thought I'll go and try that out. And one of my buddies was going down from Virginia, so I hopped in the camper with him and his girlfriend, and we cruised down to the J-Day, and I did enjoy it. I had a blast, but I had trouble getting my 450 started on the start there at the J-Day in both motos, so I had to come from behind both races and ended up with a second overall, which was pretty good. There were some fast guys there, off-road and motocross guys. But I felt like, it was a good test and a good warm-up for the GNCC. And then my main goal to take from the GNCC was just some seat time and some, long hours on my motorcycle. And I think, you do a lot of soul searching and find a lot of things out about yourself that you don't know otherwise unless you're doing 3-hour rides on the bike. So
Yeah.
definitely it was a good thing for me, and I've had a lot of positives out of it. Obviously to be on the podium wasn't really expected from the outside. I felt like I should be there, but being that I hadn't done one in 6 years, I didn't really know where I would be. So I tried to just take it lap by lap, and I ended up in the lead after like the first 4 laps, so I was just like, man, I don't know how long this is going to last, but it all come to a quick halt there towards the end. The last hour was just brutal on me, and my hand was pretty severely blistered.
Yes,
so,
it is.
So that was holding me back a little bit, but I feel like if I did one again in the future sometime, I would have a little bit better of an idea of what I need to do. I pushed really hard in the first few hours, and I felt like those guys were just trail riding behind me. I wanted to sprint away from them, but I really couldn't, and I was just kind of in between. So next time I'll take it a little easier in the first part of the race, and maybe I can be closer to the win at the end.
Okay, it's one of the questions I actually had. It kind of a good lead-in from that is, say you were to do either more off-road racing, or maybe some form of off-road full-time professionally. How would you change what you do now to what you would be doing then? So, be it diet, training, things like that. How would you change that for more of an off-road perspective of what you learned this past weekend?
I don't actually know. I had that conversation with my mom and dad on the way home, and with my wife today. Like we were just discussing like what you can actually do to be that third hour fit, and I think it just like a lot of long hours on the motorcycle, and that's I did a few 1 hour motos in a day going into the race, and I thought like that'll be pretty good, but I mean I think it would take 3 or 4 of those quite a few times before the first race to be able to go there and just push it the whole time. I think just longer type of motos and just laying yourself out there to where you have to really dig deep and let your body find what it needs to feed on and to run on after such a huge effort for so long.
Yeah. while you were for what you were doing there at the GNCC on Tuesday and for some of the J Day stuff, did you do anything specific that you got in, say, a water bottle when you maybe pitted and got new goggles and stuff? Did you have anything specific in your bottles that you were like a supplement that you were taking?
Yeah, I had some energy supplements. I had some emergency, like the vitamin C drink.
Yeah.
It actually has a lot of electrolytes and a good amount of sugar, and it's a pretty balanced drink. I had one of those in my second pit stop bottle, with some electrolyte stuff, and then in my Camelback, I just had Gatorade and another form of electrolyte drink, and I tried to hydrate pre to it, but it's hard to be prepared for something like what we went through.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so you race a badass 250F professionally right now on the West Coast, and you said that you rode that 250 at the GNCC on Tuesday, and then you rode your 450, which I guess is a I don't know if that's a Geico bike or if that's just another Honda, but can you talk to us a little bit about what you did different to those bikes, and what you maybe changed, any kind of setup, things like that, for people that know how much of a difference it is, or if there wasn't much or anything like that?
Well, my 450 is just pretty much a basic stock 2013 Honda 450 that you can buy from the shop. It has factory connection suspension and handlebars and grips, and that's pretty much it. For the JD, I didn't really change anything. Down to nothing. And then with my 250F, obviously I needed a big tank. I ran a 2.7 gallon tank. I ran some Cyker handguards because I don't like bark busters. I think they're too rigid, and I think if you hit one of them, it causes you a bigger mistake. So I like to run the shields a little bit better.
Right.
And
okay.
I ran completely a motocross setup. I didn't change one clicker, didn't change sag, didn't change anything. I just ran a complete what you would run at a motocross event, or what we would run if I was going to practice in moto tomorrow.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. So have you had any kind of bad incidents running barkbusters and stuff before, that you just run the shields now?
No, I rode a few off-road events last year. I did a national hare scramble in Georgia, and just a few little local hare scrambles, and I just kind of decided on my own that I didn't like barkbusters, and asking around, I have a few decent off-road friends like Stuart Baylor and Caleb Russell, and some of those guys are pretty good friends with. I'm pretty good friends with them, so I kind of asked around why they don't run them, and they all kind of said the same thing. So I decided that if I ever did some more off-road stuff, I would run shields instead of busters, and I definitely like it.
Right. Okay. No, it totally makes sense. I know that I have some friends that have had unfortunate wrist injuries, from getting stuck in the barkbusters, and they've always kind of what's trying to figure it out. So it's just kind of, good to know what your thoughts on that were. It seemed like I was talking to Nate Canny on Tuesday when we did the Seat Time episode, and he was talking about a little bit of a controversy maybe that seemed like you being in the XC2 class and why you weren't in the XC1 class. And was there anything in the pits that about this to kind of shed some light on if there was this controversy? I honestly don't know too much about it.
No, I didn't hear anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. No, I have no clue.
Okay. Yeah, no, and what I kind of got from it was just that, you being, I guess, a professional motocross, supercross racer, even though you are in the lights class there, there was some people were wondering maybe why you didn't line up in the XC1 class, and instead of when you did line up in the XC2 class. What was the decision on that? Is it just you just wanted to race the 250?
Yeah, honestly, I never considered racing the 450 at the GNCC because those guys are on another level again. I think in every aspect, I think it's just like racing Supercross. Those guys are on another level too in the 450 class, and so I chose just to ride the XC2 class. It's only my second ever real legit GNCC. I've done quite a few woods races and off-road stuff, but it's only my second ever GNCC, so I think, if anything, I have as much right to be in there as anyone else. But like I said, I honestly had no clue. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh,
I
well,
was
yeah.
actually concerned that they wouldn't let me sign up because the guy in the sign-up line in front of me, I was standing there with my buddy, and I was like, hey, do you have to have any kind of, like, credential or, like in AMA you have to have a point, you have to have so many pro am points to get a pro license, and I didn't
Right.
know if that was something that was also in the GNCCs, and I was kind of concerned that I wouldn't even get a sign up for the XC2 class, so I was pumped when I found out the guy in front of me, he was kind of wondering the same thing, and then they answered all his questions and let him ride, so I got to ride too, so I was pretty happy.
Nice. Well, yeah, I was super excited to see or to hear that you were out there. It was neat when John Day from the J Day events, or from J Day Off Road, he was, tweeting pictures and everything, making the course look badass, and then all of a sudden he's like, man, we just got word that Zach Osborne signed up. We were like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. What did you think of his layout? Was there a format maybe that you thought was better? Did you like the J-Day format better over GNCC? I think there's a little bit of contention there in some of the off-road rinks. We wanted to know what you thought.
Man, it's so different. I mean, it's two completely different kinds of racing. My only thing with the J-Day is I wish it wasn't dead engine. But
Yeah.
I think what he has going on there is a great little series and a great start. I would like to see some more of them down in our area to where we can get to them. I enjoyed it. I was really nervous going into it about the extreme section because I've never really done anything as far as logs or tires or telephone poles, but that was probably my best section of the day. So it ended up being really fun, and I enjoyed it, and we got to make some money at the same time. So it was a really cool experience for everyone, I think.
Yeah. Do you think that your bike had such starting troubles just because those things, the compression on those bikes is just so high? I mean, we see you guys fall over, and if you don't pull the clutch in, some of those bikes just don't start. Was there any kind of issue, do you think, with that, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot technique. I had it dialed on my 250F for Tuesday. I kicked it first kick and I almost pulled the whole shot. But at the J-Day, I didn't really spend enough time with it on my 450. And maybe she's a little worn, so that may have contributed to it as well.
You might have been putting it through the ringer a few too many times.
Yeah, it's seen some action.
I can only imagine. You mentioned being friends with Stuart Baylor Jr. and with Caleb Russell. I actually saw a helmet cam video of you riding with them. I don't know if it was out of your property or their property. I believe it was on Off-Road Viking. I was kind of searching around for stuff for you today. I mean, you look like you were booking it with those guys. I know you were back on your Yamaha, so it was back when you were in town from the GPs. But could we maybe see some more footage of that? Would you like to go out and show all of us off-road guys how to put a helmet cam on and be awesome in the woods?
Yeah, I'm down to do that anytime. But those guys will show you more than I can. I learned a lot from them. We went riding just one day last year at that video shoot, and I learned a lot that day. And Stuart's been a big help to me, like the last few weeks getting ready for this, and his dad as well, and they've been really good to me. So I have to say thanks to them for partially for the success I had this weekend.
Man, it seems like that family helps out everybody. I mean, there's pictures of Stewart's dad even changing out somebody's plug, a little youngin's plug right when he's trying to go to the starting line because he fouled the plug. I mean, I've only talked to him a handful of times, but it seemed like that is a great family, and it'd be good to be really good friends with those guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got it pretty dialed. Obviously, with Stu, he's on it, and Grant's coming up, and I think this weekend in the dirt, Grant will be a big factor for the win. So, yeah, definitely great people to know.
Nice. Okay. You've got about a month left before Seattle comes around, and you're going to go back and do some more 250 racing, or racing in the 250 class on the West Coast. So what are you going to be focused on until then?
Well, this weekend, is obviously the Georgia GNCC. I probably won't be there just due to my.
Oh,
We'll see. I mean, it's totally up to how my hand heals up. If my hand gets good enough, then I may go. But after that, I'm going to do just a week's worth of outdoor riding and then a week's worth of outdoor testing. And then after that, beginning of April, I'll start riding Supercross again, getting ready for Seattle, Salt Lake, and Vegas, and then head into the outdoors.
do you have any idea how much shit everybody's gonna give you if you don't show up because your hand hurts? I mean,
Uh,
come on. I mean, seriously.
I've already heard it all day, the last 2 days.
I mean, I'm in no position to talk. I mean, I'll give you shit regardless, but it's not like it's actually going to, mean anything. But, I mean, come on. All these other guys had to race the Tuesday, and they're going to be there in Georgia. You could do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, half of them had to race today at the Alligator, so I don't really have any excuse.
I know. I mean, so are you actually home right now? Did you make it home, or are you just kind of still down there in Florida kicking it?
No, I'm back home. I feel really good other than my hand. Like the sickness was just from, like I said, being a little dehydrated and a little overhydrated, and it didn't sit well in my stomach. So
Yeah.
I feel really good. Not sore at all. And if it weren't for my hand, I would have probably ridden today. But we'll see how that heals up over the next few days.
Man. All right. Well, cool. I can't. I mean, it was awesome seeing you out there. It was really neat. We all get to see you. We follow you, during all the Supercross races and throughout the year. And it's going to be really good to be able to follow you in more motocrosses this year, opposed to just trying to find the GP stuff and the coverage we could get. It's obviously getting better. But any kind of advice for all the kids coming up? We've had a lot of questions lately for different riders that we've had on the show. What people can do sometimes when they're having trouble bridging a certain gap or maybe getting over a certain plateau kind of in their career or maybe just in their training, and maybe just sometimes in riding and how to step it up that one little extra notch. Do you have any advice maybe specific to off-road from what you've learned from this past week's worth of racing?
Um, from from an off-road standpoint, it's just like a lot of it's mental. Just putting yourself, like, you gotta almost find your happy place after 2 hours and an hour to go, and the track's rough, and everything's hurting, your hands hurt, it's the bike's heavier and heavier, and your mind's slower and slower. You just have to. It's really hard that was what I found really hard in the third hour, was to like really stay focused and really task oriented. I guess I had a hard time just like thinking about anything. But from a motocross standpoint, like you said about bridging gaps and stuff, like I just felt like with my trip to Europe, it was really helpful for me because obviously I came from a really high-touted amateur career and didn't have the best success at the beginning, but I took what came to me and just kept trucking and persevered through, what some people call a lower rate series, but I don't really believe that. I think they have kind of messed it up a little bit with the age limit, but I think there's still a lot of talent over there, and you just got to kind of remember that you're never too good for anything, and if you just keep pressing on and doing your best, it'll come to you.
Nice. Well, we did quickly. The chat room hit us up for one more question from our good buddy Zach Huberty. He wanted to know if Geico had anything to say about you doing the off-road. I mean, I would imagine you had to check in with them. So did they have any qualms about you doing this?
They didn't. I was I was really worried about asking to do it because it is risky in a way, and it's not in a way, because I mean you can get hurt walking on the sidewalk or whatever.
Right.
But I just hit up Mike LaRocca one day, the team manager, and asked him, what he thought about it, and he was straight away like, yeah. And then that was right after West Coast Supercross, so I still had to get my shoulder was still pretty jacked up at that point, so I had to get that healed up. And he said, I'd like to see that be quite a bit better before you do something like that. So I just did my rehab and try to get that well, and then I started riding the beginning of 2 weeks ago, so like 2 weeks now. I've been back on the bike, and I just started out with like hour moto straight away, and prepared myself for the GNCC. But yeah, they were really, really cool about letting me do it, and I'm super thankful I got to.
Nice. So very nice of them to let you do that. And then Mr. Pit Pass Radio himself wanted to know if you learned anything while racing off-road this past weekend that you think you could use, moving forward either in motocross or possibly in supercross.
I'm hoping that those 30-minute motos will go by a little quicker this summer. 30 minutes was just one lap at the GNCC, so that should make things really easy.
Yeah. Do you think that heart rate would come into play or any kind of weird little technique bits, or it's all just kind of circumstantial?
It is a bit circumstantial, but, self-preservation is huge in that that area of activity, I guess you would say, just due to the fact that you're way up there for a long time. And I actually went into the GNCC thinking it'll be pretty mellow for a while, and then maybe we'll get started, and if I can get in the lead group, I'll be okay. But in the end, I was just pegged the whole time. I started out in the lead, almost in the lead, and got into the lead on the first lap. So obviously that gives you an extra 5 or 10 beats every second, and it's just it ended up being wide open the whole time. So I thought going in that I would be able to get some long, slow, medium heart rate hours in, but I didn't.
Nope. Well, dude, I really appreciate the time. I know we as usual, unfortunately, on Seat Time, we had a little bit of technical difficulties setting this stuff up. It just seems like when everything is going smooth, something shits the bed, and I gotta problem solve really quick. And I hate being a project manager on projects, but that's my life, so it is what it is. I'd like to give you the opportunity to just, throw out the thanks or any social media type stuff where people can find you. We know that controversial Jason Lawrence is trying to sneak up in your shit, and you're the real 338. But give us all that good stuff and tell us where people can find you.
I'm officially done with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, I thought I saw something about that. I wanted you to mention that. What the deal? Get in there. What's the deal?
Oh, man, I just felt like it was consuming me too much. And after my wife and I came back from California, I just deleted it all from my phone one day. The accounts are still there, but I just don't use it anymore. I'm over it, and just trying to focus on doing my job and doing it properly.
Good. Well, that's, dude, totally commendable for sure. I completely agree that it does wind up consuming you. I think if we actually had a way to measure how much time we actually spend looking up and down and all that shit, we would probably do the same thing that you did. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. For those of you who have never actually watched Seat Time before, we appreciate you watching. Where you can find us on the web is at seattime.co. If you happen to be on Facebook, you can find us on facebook.com/seattime. And if you're on Twitter and you haven't deleted your Twitter account, it's twitter.com/seattime_co. Of course, you can find all of these interviews and our episodes on Stitcher and iTunes and YouTube. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Mr. Zach Osborne. Good luck. Have fun. We hope to see you at another GNCC. And when you, don't hurt your hands, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully it'll be all better for Sunday, but I don't think so.
All right. Well, that's okay. You can spend time with your wife. We're not gonna take that away from you. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Remember, this is Seat Time. If nothing else, always enjoy a pint full of awesome. Thanks, guys. Peace.